Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Okay Martini, your friendly neighborhood podcast with
Sofia and Sarah.
Yeah. This is we've uploaded 10 episodes now, and that's kind of crazy. I'm really proud of us for doing it. I mean, it's a really small number, but still I think it's pretty fucking cool that we've done 10 episodes so far. Sure. This is really random. This isn't how I originally what I originally was thinking about talking about, but I just really need to get it out of my system. But so I got some Chinese food for dinner, right? I mean, I sent you, Sofia, the video. And I finished my noodles, and at the bottom, it was already kind of greasy, but I was like, okay, it's just shitty Chinese food from this place that's 10 minutes from me, and I live in the middle of nowhere. Well, not really in the middle of nowhere, but still, it's only old people live here. And the Chinese food, at the bottom, there was so much oil. It was so greasy, and that was just so disgusting to me. I was just fuck, it was so awful. And then it got me thinking to all of these excuse me, guys, I have the lungs of a 2-year-old. It got me thinking to these Instagram food videos, the really shitty recipes, just American recipes is the easiest way I can explain what it is, and they're just everything's either deep fried or got bacon on it or 10 kilos of cheese, and none of it looks appetizing. But people are oh my god, this is so amazing. And all I can think is my arteries are clogged looking at this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Or those videos where they pour cheese on burgers, and I'm
I hate
disgusting.
those.
I'm sorry.
It really does. But some people go crazy for this stuff. And there's I remember once it was this everyone was sharing it on Facebook, and I couldn't figure why, because it did not look appealing. It was a burger with 30 meat and cheese patties, and it was the cheese was all gooping, but it was so big and so huge. I was just looking at it, and I was no, what about this is appetizing to you? Sure, I'm a fat ass, I like a good cheeseburger, who doesn't? Vegans. But it's no, but you know what I mean? It's you look at it and you're what about this is appealing to you? I mean, okay, if anyone listening to this does actually like this stuff, please explain what about it is oh, this is so good. Because too much of something will make you sick. If I have too much burgers, even in the course of a week, if I have burgers several times in the course of a week, I'm gonna be pretty sick of burgers personally,
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, that wasn't the main thing I wanted to talk about, but I was just thinking about this and wanted to get it out of my system. The main thing I wanted to talk about is we've already talked about our high school experiences and stuff like that, and you sent me something today. It was this text post, actually I think almost an hour ago, maybe less. It was this text post. It was what was it? It was some 16-year-old talking.
Yeah.
Wait, let me bring it up. So let me read it. It was this post on Instagram from someone's Twitter page, and it was 16-year-old in the TV show. Maybe this year will be different. Maybe this year I'll lose my virginity. I can't believe I'm 16 and a virgin. All my friends are having sex, but I'm a loser virgin to be precise.
Loser virgin.
First of all, I sucked off a guy who was a loser virgin. But I mean, and I was just thinking, the world is so weird. I mean, we laugh at this shit now, but I was thinking, man, we were just as cringy back then. I don't think we realized how, I mean, I would say we weren't that bad, but then again, like, I mean, I did have some, like, cringy shit on my Tumblr, you know? Like, anyone who had a Tumblr in our age group, like, in their, like, I don't know, 14 to 16s, like, they were cringy. Anyone who had a Tumblr in that age was, like, super cringy, you know?
Yeah. Sure.
And, like, and, I mean, we've, like, brushed up on, like, stuff about this in, like, an older episode about, like, how, you know, like, people at this age, like, they're kids, they're literally so young, and, like, when we were this age, like, we didn't even realize, and there was all this, like, crazy shit we said and did, and all that, and, like, I mean, it's pretty much the same, like, people in our generation, like, shit on, like, this, like, new generation, they're like, oh, like, these fucking Tide Pod eaters, like, we fucking did, like, the cinnamon challenge. Okay, like, cinnamon and Tide Pods aren't exactly, like, you know, but there was a whole fucking medical conference that my mom went to about the fucking cinnamon challenge. So we all did crazy shit. And, like, you know, one thing I've realized,
challenge because I'm not stupid.
Yeah, no, I never did. I was too scared of, like, actually fucking dying. But, like, I mean, okay, everyone did the ice bucket challenge, you know, like, I mean, I know I did it, and, like, we were at this, like, weird resort. We were at this weird resort in LA. Listen to the old episode, guys, to get the reference. You know, Salami,
yeah.
LA. Yeah. So, in LA, and, like, yeah, dude, she was, like, she, like, waited for, like, our friend, we're just gonna call her Sam, for Sam to, like, list off everything to do in fucking Los Angeles before she was like, oh, by the way, I met, like, this other place in the Middle East. And we were like, bro. But yeah, and, like, Rip, you more than me, like, because I got into them because of you. You, when we were, like, what, like 15 or 16, you were really into 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, and, like, I was just, like, thinking about that, you know, like, I mean, sure, we're talking, like, a lot about, like, high school stuff, but, like, when I just, like, when we started, like, properly talking about it, I was just like, man, that was, like, a real period of our lives. Yeah. It felt so surreal, you know?
But it was quite short, I would say, and random, like, not, suddenly, like, that was it, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like, a...
Yeah, exactly.
Like, a progressive, like, you know, stop liking them, you know?
It felt like forever in the moment. Yeah, that's so weird, like, but then I think it's, like, a relatively global thing, because you do not hear about 5 Seconds of Summer anymore.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
It's so rare that you do. Like, even when you do, you just think to yourself, oh, that's still a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's, and we were so into them, and, like, I remember we used to make these wallpapers for our phones, remember? That was, like, I Heart Drummers.
Really? I don't remember that.
Dude, do you not remember this? We used to do this all the time, and it became, like, a thing that I did. And I would, like, always send them to you. It was like the pixelated speech bubble.
Yes, oh my god, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I would, like, write shit like I Heart Drummer.
No, you know how, like, it was the time when, like, Apple made an update for the phone, and then, like, you couldn't
iOS 7.
Background. Like, you had to have the background the size of the phone, so you did, like, that
Yeah, exactly.
Where it was, like,
I remember
I
remember it so well, because, like, the reason I remember it is because, like, I downloaded this, like, jailbreak for, like, iOS 7 before it properly came out. That's the reason I distinctly remember it. And then, like, the guy who uploaded the jailbreak didn't specify that this was, like, a demo version, and I being the idiot 15 fucking year old that I was, or whatever, I was like, oh, let me just, like, ignore the reviews and just download it. And that's how I talk, by the way, guys. And, like, so I downloaded it, and then, like, after, like, fucking 6 months, my phone was like, okay, the, like, trial version of iOS 7 is over, like, you restore the phone, and, like, my phone wouldn't sync to iTunes. It wouldn't just, like, because, like, the phone had completely shut down because it was totally, like, a demo version, you know? And I was just like, how the fuck? And I was so worried about, like, it was so dumb, but I was so worried about, like, getting arrested, you know, because they would have been like, oh, did you illegally, even though I don't think jailbreaking is, like, illegal, if I'm not wrong, but, like, I was so worried. I was like, oh, shit. So, like, I had to like figure out somehow to like completely fuck up my phone or whatever. I couldn't restore it. Like I had to figure out a way to make it not work so I could like get it to work, you know. And like so I didn't know what to do, so I just like completely let the battery die out. And then like I was like, Dad, can we get this fixed? And he was like, oh, I know a guy. So we didn't have to give it to Apple, and I didn't have to like worry or anything. So I just like put my phone through trouble for no reason. But yeah, anyways, that was the dumbass story of why I remember iOS 7. In case anyone was wondering.
Yeah. No, yeah, my brother used to jailbreak phones all the time. But then, but after iOS 7, it got very hard to do that. Like, he used to do it all the time for, like, all of us. And, and I was like, wow, I'm so cool.
It was like a thing. Yeah, it was like such a thing. Like, I mean, I was at a friend's place, and we were watching... For some reason, we were watching, like, a Steve Jobs unveiling the iPhone at 2007's Macworld. And it was so funny to watch. 2007 was fucking 12 years ago. That's so weird. 12 years ago. But, like, only 12 years ago in 2007, like, shit was pretty like, relatively advanced still, you know, for the time. I think that's true for every time period, but still... and he was like explaining the iPhone, and he was like saying, it's not just like a phone and an iPod, it's the iPhone, and the crowd went wild, dude. Like, and it was just like, and he was explaining it. He was like, state of the art technology, 2G like reception, and like 2G. If you get 3G, people are like, my data is so shit, you know. Yeah. It was so weird. Times were weird, man. Like, I remember, like, my dad had gotten me, like, the original iPod. Like, he was like, oh, here's a gift. And I was so excited. And then he gave me the original iPod. And being, like, a fucking spoiled, like, 11-year-old who shouldn't have, like, an iPod Touch. He got me, like, the first iPod Touch the year the third iPod Touch came out. So my iPod couldn't do shit. And there were all these people whose iPods were, like, so cool, and they could, like, download all these apps, and mine was just like, oh, here's, like, 3 apps and, like, a shitty pre-installed YouTube app that, like, this one, I don't know why I'm remembering this. This is, like, a brain vomit train of thought. But there was this, like, weird guy who was, like, family, whose parents were like, friends with my parents, and they were visiting us, and the guy was on my iPod, like, looking up something on YouTube, and he was in my room, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was, like, looking up porn-related stuff. We were, like, fucking 11 or 12, man. Yeah. And he was just looking up porn on YouTube. Like, he was typing, like, boob sucking, naked vagina, and shit like that on YouTube, and, like, trying to find stuff to watch. Like, on my iPod, like, in front of me. Like, he was like, oh, like, how you speak English? Like, what should I look up? And I was like, dude, I don't fucking know. I'm 11. I haven't thought of this shit. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any fond memories of your childhood? Or our time in high school that doesn't involve weird vaginas and such?
I don't know, actually. Like, it's weird because when you actually think about it, you don't really remember anything. But, like, sometimes you just remember stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, that was weird.
Yeah, totally. And, like, most of the time, like, I mean, I think you've mentioned that you get this too, but sometimes, like, I think about, like, a memory, and then I'm like, you know, if someone told me that this was all in my head, I would probably be like, oh, that I believe you. Like, if I told my parents something I remember from my childhood, and they were like, honey, that never happened, you know, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, like, I'd believe you, like, because, like, the memory feels that insignificant or, like, bizarre, you know?
Yeah.
But then there are some that other people are like, I doubt that happened, and you're like, no, but I remember it so vividly, you know? But then other people are like, oh, I'm not entirely sure if that was, like, real. Are you sure maybe you were dreaming, you know? Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that. Like, I get that mostly, like, when I have memories of, like, when I was very, very, very young.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I guess, like, 12 and younger.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember stuff, and I'm like, did that happen? But then I don't want to ask, like, anyone. And I'm kind of hoping the other person doesn't remember if that happened or not. Because, like, you just remember weird shit.
And, oh, my God. Like, Yeah, there was this. Oh my! I don't know why I just remember this because this was before my brother was even born. I'm pretty sure I was 3 at the time. I'm almost certainly sure, but I had this like. Now I know this is real because there are photos of me next to it, but now I'm starting to doubt it because of like the whole thing we talked about. But we had this like blow up like bouncy water castle type thing where it was like it was like a little castle with like a little like moat around it, and like you blew it up and you poured water in it, and like you would like connect like a hose to this part at the top so it would like pour water on you constantly and shit like that. And like I remember that like, oh my god, the same guy, the porn guy, like the 11-year-old who was trying to watch porn on my iPod on YouTube, he was there too, him and his parents, and I can't remember what he said to me, but I remember for some reason like stepping on the side of the castle, which instantly like made it deflate and like ripped the rubber that like held it. I don't know like how 3-year-old me had that strength. I don't think it was like puffed up all the way, and like so it just completely deflated. And then my dad was so angry he made him go home. Yeah. Like the kid, like the 3-year-old kid with his parents. He was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this. You're in trouble," and made the parents leave too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I know that like
dangerous if like someone is like on the bouncy thingy and then like
it wasn't really like a bouncy thing. Like it wasn't like there was nets or anything next to it. It wasn't that big. Yeah, but I don't know. It was no. My dad got angry because like he thought like I did it on purpose, like to get it to like deflate on purpose. So he was like, "Oh, you can't have any fun anymore. We're sending our guests home." And I was like, "Well, technically, you're punishing yourself like that." So I don't know. I talked back as a kid. Like I talked back a lot. I don't know what happened. Yeah, my dad says "fuck you." I say yes sir. You're right.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like I guess when you're a kid, you don't give a shit. Like you.
Yeah, you don't realize.
Shit. And that's like, what I miss.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, relatives, like, I'm pretty, like, I mean, my relatives would be like, "Oh, Sarah, you're so quiet now." And I'm like, whenever I tell my friends that my relatives say this, or they say it in front of my friends are like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, you're so quiet. They're like, "Dude, what?" Like, I was so confident as a child. Like, I roasted everyone. I fucking destroyed people. I was like making deep fried dank memes before it was even a fucking thing, man.
Yeah, like, yeah, my relatives are also like, "Sofia, like, you were so happy as a kid. What happened? Like, you were so, like,
oh, that's sadder
all the time. Like, you were so, like, you know?" And I'm like,
yeah.
Life happened, bro.
Fam-a-lot's been on.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Like, I mean, I used to like stir shit up sometimes, but like it wasn't because I wanted to like piss people off. I was just kind of curious what would happen, you know? Like in my head, it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm fucking shit up." It was more like, "I wonder what would happen if I do this," or "I wonder what would happen if I say this." Like if I knew something I was gonna do would get me in trouble, I would get one of my other cousins to do it. I was very persuasive. I was about to say per-fucking-suasive. I don't know why I didn't. That would have been
Maddie
like
fucking smokes.
Maddie fucking smoke. Jewel gang. We got Kyler, Tyler, Skylar in the back. Yeah. All that crap. That was it. I jewel. I really don't like jeweling in public. I honestly, like, the only reason I jewel is because I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. And like, I don't know, it's just like in public, like, okay, here in Italy, like a lot of, like in Milan especially, a lot of people vape. Like with the fucking ones that look like lightsabers and shit.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like with like a jewel, like it's smaller, it's less inconspicuous, you know, it's not really in your face like those giant ass vapes. But it's still like, it's still vaping, and it's so like, I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know, but yeah. But there was something I wanted to say. Oh, I finally finished the show You. This is really off topic. We're just jumping from topic to topic here. I couldn't care less. But I finished watching You, and like, honestly, the only thing I can say, I don't want to dwell on it too much because like the only thing I want to say is that show was crap. It was a piece of cliche garbage. And the only say I say garbage is because if I say garbage, it would be insulting to garbage. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It was so uncreative. It was so uncreative. It was like the dumbest shit. Like, even the plot twist, spoiler alert, even the plot twist in the end was so, it wasn't like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? It was like, oh shit, come on. You know? Like, I really hope that the show just doesn't get funded for, like, the second season. Because, like, I mean, there are actually a lot of shows that have been left in the first season. And there was a show that I was obsessed with when it came out. Like, me and another one of my friends. But then we found out that they weren't going to produce a second season. And we were so upset because it was so addictive. I feel like if I watch it now, I'll find it cringy. It was called Dracula, I think.
Okay.
But it was starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyer. And I have a huge crush on that guy. I don't know why.
I remember.
He looks like...
So,
yeah.
I remember. Yeah, okay.
And, like, I really love that show. I think it's because I had a crush on, like, the lead female actress as well. So for me, it was like, oh, like, you know, my fucking bisexual brain was like, you know, like, going crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was obsessed with that show. Like, I was, like, watching it online. Like, it was coming out, like, every Thursday. And every Thursday, like it came out online 1 hour like after it was aired in America, so I would like organize myself, like my time around like when it would come out for like I'd say like the 2-3 months it was out, because it only had 11 episodes if I'm not wrong. But dude, I don't know if you ever watched it, because I remember another one of our classmates, like, she started watching it because I kept talking about it. Did you ever watch it?
No, I haven't watched it. I just remember you guys talking about it. But
I think I'm gonna actually start watching it again, because like I remember I loved it so much. I was actually so upset when like I found out it was canceled. Like, I don't know, like there were so many TV shows like we were into like back in the day. Like, I mean, there's like I still enjoy certain TV shows, but like back then I feel like we followed TV shows much more.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I remember like we had Post-its on like the insides of our laptops with like which season and episode we were on for each like TV show we were watching. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Like, what
days, like I learned that from you. Like, yeah. I learned that from you. Like, I saw it. Like, I think I copied like a lot of shit that you did. We had too
much time, bro. Like,
we had way too much. We had way too much
like,
time.
yeah, I would watch like a few shows like simultaneously. Like, I mean, like at this, you know what I mean? Like now, all I watch is like, like once in a while on Netflix, I'll be like, okay, let me just watch this show, and then that's it. Like, I don't follow up on it. But
like some stuff on Netflix, you kind of just like binge watch.
Yeah.
You know, but like back then, like sometimes like with newer shows, like American Horror Story. Like, we would, like, we got up to date with American Horror Story. Like, we started from season 1, and then we, like, caught up to date with season 3. And, like, so it would upload on time. So, like, the episode came out, like, Friday morning. Like, Friday afternoon, we'd be texting each other, like, oh, the new episode's out. Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. Those were good times, man. It was so, it's so weird, because I was about to say, like, we got so much, like, free time, and, like, we watched so many, like, movies and TV shows because of, like, GCSE art. But then I remember that the most tasking subject we had was fucking art. Yeah. There was so much work. Like, out of, like, all the subjects that we did, I think, like, art took more of, like, an emotional toll on me than everything else. It was the most frustrating subject.
It's hard. Like, it was hard. Like, I think art was the reason that, like, for example, I did not that well. I mean, I did alright, but I didn't do, like, amazingly well in like sciences, because I was like
me too.
On art.
Yeah, they kept like, remember they kept dragging my dad into it. Like, they kept emailing him and shit, and like, you know, getting him to come to school and saying stuff like, oh, we don't think Sarah's gonna pass or whatever. Like, and I was so stressed out. I locked myself in the bathroom once, and our friend, like, she broke down the door of the bathroom, like our school bath. Do you remember this?
No.
Yeah?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Wait, who?
It was like Saman. She broke down the door. I had an email with I had a meeting with our art teachers, and they were like, we're gonna email your dad again.
Yeah.
And I was, like, fucking panicking, and I started, like, having a panic attack in the fucking bathroom.
No, okay, dude, hold up. Because the fanfiction girl, she told me this story that she was in the bathroom and someone had to break the bathroom door to get her out of there.
Oh my god, what a liar!
I didn't understand because she
what a liar!
Panic attack in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, what? You were there?
No, that was me, dude. Like
right now, I was like, wait, it was actually Sarah. Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, it was me, dude. It was me. It was so hilarious because they didn't change that door for 2 years.
Man, what the fuck?
It was in the fucking quote unquote Ruby Frog Cafe.
Maybe it happened to her as well. I don't know.
It hadn't, because after it happened to me, like people were like, we were kind of laughing about it because it was so ridiculous that like my friend, like a fucking 15-year-old Samantha, broke the lock. Like I locked myself in like the bathroom stall, but it was like open from the top and the bottom. It wasn't like I was trapped or anything. Yeah. But she wanted to know why I was crying, so she broke down the door. And like I came out and like I was like, people were like giving me all this attention because we were laughing at the fact that the door broke down. She was like, "Oh my god, yeah, the same thing happened to me." And we were like, "What?"
Dude,
you've never mentioned it.
I thought it because I remember
seriously.
I remember she told me like I was having a mental breakdown in the bathroom because of science or some shit, or like you know that teacher that you had for like one of this teacher that was like so I don't remember.
Was it in like IB or GCSEs?
I think GCSEs, but like I wasn't there. Like I wasn't like I didn't see it happen. But I remember she was like I was having a mental breakdown. Someone like broke down. Oh my god, maybe I'm mixing something up, but I don't remember that you had a mental breakdown in the bathroom.
No, but like I don't know. I don't remember if you were there because like it was Samantha and she broke down the door. Yeah. I mean she's gonna be coming to Milan, so we can get like a quote from her.
No, I just remember because that girl she told me about like
fanfic girl. Yeah, but like we had like weird like they got my dad involved so much. Like, it was, like, I mean, okay, it's the job of the high school, like, to do that, like, if you're not doing well in a class. But, like, for example, with my brother, he didn't do well in an exam, and they didn't tell my parents anything. Like, my brother's friend's mom, like, asked my mom a question about the exam. My mom was like, what? I didn't know that this happened. And I was like, bro, what? Yeah. But yeah, our school was shit. Like, they were so obsessed with statistics above anything else. And that's what they would use to motivate us. Like, remember all the assemblies? Like, they would always show, like, a fucking diagram that was like, this is the UK, this is our line. Look at how much better we're doing than the UK. Ignore my British accent, that made me cringe. But, you know, like, they always did that, and it was so annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was tough times. But we had, I don't know, like, I remember, like, for our final piece, you did a door. Was it for your final piece or like coursework? You did. You're so fucking cool. You got Sophie fucking got an entire door, and I'm talking like a real door, like wooden door, and like she did this like really cool like Banksy inspired like graffiti and shit on it, and like remember we did the 5 Sauce logo like on the background.
Yeah.
We did like the 5 seconds of summer logo on the background, and we wrote shit like, oh, what was that? Like Ashton.
Yeah, but then
and,
we
like,
covered
Mike.
it. I think we covered it with paint after.
Yeah, we did, because you were like cringing. Yeah. And like, oh my god, I was like supposed to do an installation and like 1 painting, but then I saw that I had extra time, so I did like 4 paintings in total and like 1 big ass installation. And I still had like an hour to spare. And like, my pieces weren't bad at all. Like, I was actually really proud of myself. And, like, I was like, miss, I'm done. And then they were like, Sarah, we don't think you're going to pass. And I was like, why? They were like, oh, because you had 10 hours to do this. And you'd only plan to do, like, 1 drawing and, like, 1, like, installation. But instead you did 4 and an installation. I was like, yeah, but they all go together with the theme.
Yeah.
And they all have, like, the same quality of work. You know? So I can just, like, act like I totally planned this. You know? And they were like, oh yeah, we're not sure. But anyways, like, joke's on them. I ended up getting an A. Piss off!
Yeah, man.
I hope my roommate's not home. Otherwise, I'm screaming. Yeah. Remember when we watched, what was that movie? Silent Hill?
Yeah, I remember.
That was such a crap movie.
That wasn't a good movie.
We were, like, laughing so hard. And then we ordered pizza, too, that day.
Dude, that was so nice. I miss
it. Yeah, that was such a good day. And we have, like, a picture where I was like holding, I don't know like what, I think I was holding a plate or something. You're on the floor doing like the rock sign with your tongue sticking out, and I'm just like stepping in. That was such an iconic picture. That should be our brand. We should make t-shirts with that on it.
No.
Sell it to our 10 subscribers. That's a cool fucking shirt. Like, if we were at a skate park, that would be even cooler. But the fact that we're, like, outside the cafe, you know, like outside the
I'm
fucking...
wearing a fucking flannel, like, goddamn.
Yeah, you are...
I couldn't have been more cringy. Oh,
black ripped jeans, Converses.
But I remember you
white
had a 1975 shirt.
Oh yeah, I did. That I designed myself.
Yeah. With their
that I designed myself.
Like you...
Yeah. I was so into the 1975. Yeah, I did. I forged their signatures. Oh shit. I was so into the 1975. Like, I remember, I'm so ashamed to admit this, but like, okay, this music has really shaped who I am as a person, but like a lot of the music that I listened to back in the day that like I discovered by myself, I would go to like Virgin Mega stores, go to the CD section and pick out the CD, whose band name and album cover I liked the most, even if I hadn't heard of them. I was fucking 14. That's like what my taste of music depended on. Like I would like literally just walk around, see what like, because I knew what genres like I was vaguely into. Like I knew I like kind of like rock and like indie alternative music, and also I wasn't that into jazz. Like I was still like discovering my love for jazz. So like I would just like for jazz, like I mainly picked up compilations. Rather than, like, you know, I didn't, like, know that many artists. Like, I knew like, Charlie Parker and, like, Louis Armstrong and, like, the really common names. Yeah. And, like, but, like, I would walk into the fucking Indian alternative section, look at, like, the album covers and, like, the band names that I thought, like, seemed the coolest. Not based on anything. Like, I wouldn't even, like, research them on Tumblr or, like, and stuff like that. But I would just genuinely just walk through and just, like, look at stuff. And yeah, that was like what my taste of music was based on for that period. Like that's where I discovered all like new artists. But then also that kind of led me to like hating like a bunch of like music that I would buy because I wouldn't have heard it before, you know? Yeah. I would just like randomly like buy these CDs and then I'd play it and I'd be like, oh, this is crap, you know? But yeah, that's actually how do you know how I discovered Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Like that.
It wasn't through you, actually, but yeah, the band. Do you know how I discovered them?
No, I mean, like, I asked like that. Like, you just saw them.
No. I saw a really cool t-shirt at Forever 21.
No way.
Yeah, that's how I discovered Red Hot Chili. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I bought it, and then I checked them out, and then, like, they're, like, my favorite band.
No, okay, two stories. First,
I
remember I was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, like, I had, like, an iPod Nano, and this was, like, I think I was, like, 14 or something?
Yeah,
and I was listening to Californication, and you come up to me, and you were like, what are you listening to? I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, oh, this, and I just showed you, and you were like, you know what fornication means? I'm not kidding. And I was like, what? Yeah, and I was like, what? I think we were like 13 or something. Like, we were young.
Oh my god.
And I was like, what?
Do you know what fornication?
Yeah, you asked me this.
Can I just do an ASMR version of that to the mic?
Okay, do it.
Do you know what fornication means?
And I was like, little old innocent me. I was like, what does it mean? Tell me more, you know? I think it was also an Arabic class, but anyway.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and you were like, it means like sex without being married or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said something like that. And I was like, what?
Do you know where I learned what that means from?
Where?
The Simpsons.
Oh my god, dude. And
then, yeah, sorry, continue.
And then after that, I didn't listen to that song for a week.
Oh my god.
I was like literally, like, you broke me. I was like, wait,
I'm
what?
so sorry.
I was like, my brother listens
a chick who
to this.
sucks dick. Yeah, I'm joking. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I also remember one time, like, I had gotten into Red Hot Chili Peppers at this point, and like, we both had this, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt that we'd gotten from Pull and Bear, like, separately. Yeah. And there was this, like, film and media school trip to the cinema.
Yes, and that girl, Sarah, she was like...
That girl, Sarah, approached you, and she said, This was my
second story. This is my second story I wanted to tell, yeah.
Do you want to just go tell the story? I'm so embarrassed.
Wait, she was like, what did she say? She was like,
oh, I love your body. Yeah, no, she said to you, oh, I love your body. And I thought she said, oh, I love this band. Like, I don't know why I couldn't hear. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, I have the exact same one, but I didn't want to wear it today. Because I thought maybe she was going to wear it. And, like, the two of you...
No, but also, you know what she asked me?
What?
Or maybe it was a different girl as well, but she was like, the band, like... I you know the band? And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm fucking wearing their shirt. Like,
oh my god. I don't think it was her, because I don't think she knew that band.
Yeah, it was someone else.
But like,
I remember that story as well.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing. And then, like, you looked at me and, like, you were like, she was talking about my body. That's exactly how you said it.
Did I say it? Did I say it?
You were like, she said she loves my body.
Because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You didn't wear it today. You wear bodies now.
Have we told the cheese croissant story?
No. We're not telling that story. Fuck that shit.
We're telling the cheese croissant story.
That girl already fucked my life up so hard with telling me that I wrote the fanfiction. I'm not telling this shit. God damn.
Hey, we're just clarifying. Hey, we just told people that I said I have the exact same body you was home, but I didn't want to wear it.
No, this story, we're saving it for, like,
it's
for later.
Funny.
No, I don't want to.
Okay, fine. We'll save it for later. Are there any other embarrassing stories about you?
No.
Cheese croissant? Fucking...
Okay,
oh my god.
In my defense, she asked me the same question like 55,000 times, and I thought she was gonna ask me the same question again.
People don't know what you're talking about. We should clarify.
All right, let me.
They're not gonna defend you without no. You tell it. It's your story.
Okay, so I was meeting.
Set the scene. Make it moody.
So I was meeting like,
it was a dark and stormy night.
The fanfiction girl, and then her mom was at the mall, so she's like, "Oh,
let's give her a name. Let's call her Patricia."
Okay, so I was meeting Patricia at the mall, and her mom was already in this cafe, Paul, like the mall cafe, you know.
Yeah.
So her mom was there, and she's like, "My mom is in this cafe. Like, let's just sit with her for a while, and then we can go, whatever." Mm-hmm. So I'm like, "Sure, whatever." We sit down, and I'm like, cause I feel weird because like, if there's like a pair in there, I don't know who the fuck is gonna like, are we gonna split the bill or whatever? So I'm like, I don't want to.
It's really.
Yeah, it's awkward,
like,
right?
Terrifying. Yeah.
So her mom is just like, and her mom also has a weird accent, like just, I mean, not like an accent that I'm used to. I don't know. I'm just trying to like. Here. But she's like, what do you want? What do you want to eat? And I'm like, nothing. No, nothing. You're like, nothing. I don't want anything. And she's like, what do you want to eat? Yeah. She keeps asking me what I want to fucking eat. You know. And I'm like, all right, like, I'll just look at the menu, whatever. And then she's like, so what do you want? Did you choose something? Did you choose something? I'm like, no, like, actually, I don't want anything, whatever. Because it's weird, like, who's gonna fucking, like, do I, like, just pay for my whatever? And I didn't want to eat anything anyway, you know? So she's like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, probably, like, 5 times she asked me, what do you want? And then there's a long pause, and then she's like, so what are you choosing for your GCSEs or something? Or for your IB, or I don't know, something like that. And I'm like, all right, I'll have a cheese croissant.
What subjects are you taking? I'll have a cheese croissant.
I was like, all right, like, I'll take a cheese croissant then. Like, you know, because, like, I thought she was going to fucking ask me again, like, what do you want? Like, I already told you 55,000 times, I don't want shit.
Fucking iconic.
And then the best part, then... like, it was silent, and then they both started laughing, and I still don't get it. You know, like, when you hear something, like, later, you know? When you don't hear it at first, but then you, like... And they both started laughing, and I'm like, what? Because I still didn't fucking hear
Bitch, give me my cheese croissant!
No, I didn't want anything. I didn't want fucking shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then they both started laughing, and I'm like, what is it? Like... I think I didn't even say anything. I think I just looked at them like, why the fuck are they laughing? These people are crazy.
Just like staring in silence. People are insane, said the girl who says she's studying cheese croissants.
I said, alright, I'll take a cheese croissant. Like, I didn't even listen to what the fuck she... Like, I thought she asked me, like, what you want, what I want. Again, because, like, you know.
Jesus, yeah.
And then they both started laughing. And this girl, like, told the story, like, a million times. Like, we get it. Okay? You've done more embarrassing shit, dude. You said, like, these guys...
Yeah, her entire existence was, like, embarrassing.
Like, come on. You know?
Yeah, her entire existence was embarrassing.
This is funny now, but, like... They just, like, laughed, and they were probably like, oh my god, this girl doesn't even know English, you know?
Oh my god.
No, because that's how she treated me, kind of. Like, I was always this, like, stupid bitch, you know? Like, I'm not, but, like, I don't think I am. But I even remember, like, when we got our GCSE grades, I think I told you this.
Yeah.
And then, like, she got, like, a B in English or some shit.
Yeah.
And then she was crying, like, bawling her eyes out. I'm like, a B is fine.
Oh,
like,
God,
you know?
yeah.
And she's like, it may be fine for you, but it's not fine for me. Or something along these lines. Like,
Jesus.
And I was like, yeah, because I'm, like, and I'm not stupid. Like, I'm actually not, like, I didn't get, like, fucking F's. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, just because I'm, like, I don't know, just because I don't have a British passport, bitch. Like.
Yeah. She was really,
like,
really...
Yeah, it just annoys me when people just... Like, when you do something creative, they're like, you're a dumb bitch. or like if you're foreign,
yeah, like,
I
hate that,
bitch. Like, you're so dumb, you're foreign, dude, you're Russian, you don't know fucking English at all, you know, like...
Oh, gosh, she was so condescending. Like, I remember one time we were talking about something. Now, the accent I speak English in... This is how I speak English. This is how I've, like, pretty much, like, been speaking English. Like, okay, all of my teachers, like, since kindergarten had been British. I don't know how I ended up with this accent. Like, I really don't know. But, yeah, this is, like, the accent I've always had. Like, this is the accent you've always had, you know? But I remember one time, like, it was, like, after I'd come back from the LA trip, and I was saying how it was really funny to me that the tour guide... like, thought I was joking when I said I was Iranian because he thought that I was from the U.S. And I was like, no, this is actually my first time here. Because he thought because of my accent, I was American. Yeah. You know? Because, like, I don't have, like, a discernible foreign accent. Like, I always thought my accent was, like, neutral, you know? Yeah, like, maybe, like, some of the words I pronounce in a British way, other words, like, I pronounce in, like, an American way. I don't know. This is just the accent I have. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's so weird that... you know, that he said this, because he was like, oh, like, you sound like a Midwesterner, and then all of a sudden, no, he didn't say that, and then she was like, I was like, what kind of accent do I have? And she was like, oh, you have, like, a really try-hard Midwestern accent, and I stared at her, and I was like,
what the fuck?
Are you kidding me? Like, are you fucking joking? Like, I mean, it's,
wait, she
like, that was...
as well?
No, she wasn't. But, like, this is after I'd come back. I was, like, saying. But she was, like... I was just staring at her, like, what the fuck was that supposed to mean? Like, I didn't know what a Midwestern accent even meant at the time. I was like, what? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, are you just, like, mocking? Like, I couldn't tell, and it was so frustrating.
Yeah. No, it's really, like...
I don't even know.
It's really, like, making you feel like shit for no reason.
Yeah, like, everything you did, she would one-up you.
I remember, like... Yeah, exactly.
Even if it was a bad thing.
Yeah. But also, I remember, it was, like, school photo day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this, but one of our friends... Well, I wasn't very close with her, but...
was it the little one?
No,
Okay.
She was also Iranian. She has, like...
Saman?
Thick eyebrows. No. Star.
Oh, okay, the other one. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean... Whatever. I'm not saying anything bad.
No, you can say her name. You can say her name.
Happened, like... so basically it was photo day, and I think Satara put, like, foundation on or whatever, which is perfectly fine. Like, it's photo day, you know, you want to look good, sis.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, she told, like, they were in the bathroom together or something, and like, Patricia was just like, you look like a ghost, or something like this.
What?
And Satara got so upset. I remember she came to the class, and she was, like, upset, like, I'm pretty sure it was Satara, and she was upset, and then we were talking about her, and then Patricia walks in, and she was like, and she obviously hears that we're talking about her, like, oh my god, what a bitch, like, she called you a ghost, what the fuck, you know? And, but also, Sorry, I'm just remembering so much shit.
Yeah, no, go off, sis.
Like, yeah, once like, remember.
This is the bitching channel, and I love it.
I'm sorry, but okay, this is really, really bad.
No, sis, this is the bitching channel.
This is really bad, and like, if this is too bad, we can cut this out.
Nah, it's G. Just go for it.
So basically, we had school like this one day, and the day before that, she texted in the group chat that her grandma passed away. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And the next day, I come to school, and she looks very, very upset, and I'm sorry, like, I forgot, you know? So I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, why are you upset?
I think it was in the middle of our mock exams.
Yeah. I think so. And I was like, hey, what's up? Why are you upset, you know? Dude.
Yeah.
She fucking exploded on me. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Like, why I'm upset? Why I'm fucking upset? Are you kidding me? Blah, blah, blah. Like, and it completely, like, flew out of my mind, dude. Like, I completely forgot. You know what I mean? About that. You know, like, I'm sorry, but, like, you know, like, and she was...
It's not like you went up to her and you were like, hey, how's your grandma, bitch? Yeah. You know, like...
And she got so upset with me, and I was like, I've never felt so, like, my heart was, like, in my freaking toe, you know? Like, Jesus, I was like, I was like, oh my god, I'm a bad person. But then now I'm like, dude, come on. Like, it's not like I was, like, I'm sorry, your
yeah, like, died. I mean, when you think about it, yeah, and, like, now you're just like, wow, that was an overreaction, you know?
Yeah, like, yeah, I'm sorry about your grandma, but, like, you know, I'm not gonna spend all night thinking about it. Like, I didn't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't tell her when, like, one of my relatives died, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't text a group chat like my relative just died, you know?
Because the thing about her is, if you say something bad that happens, because like sometimes she would ask, she would mention it. She would be like I would be like, oh, like this has never happened, but like for example, I'd be like, oh, my goldfish died. She'd be like, everyone in my family got shot to death.
Yeah.
And you just kind of stare at her, and you wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah,
you know, it's not like because. Yeah, cause she never said, like, oh, like, I'm so sorry for your loss, like, I know what you're going through, this happened to me, because then I would be like, okay, she's saying, like, I know what you're going through. Yeah. But this was like, oh, cool story, bro, my clit fell off, like,
Yeah, it's like
oh, my brother got a circumcision, I got my tits removed.
Yeah, that's nice and shit, but, like, back to me, I have bigger problems, you know, like.
Yeah, like, even, like, even a minorly good thing, like, sometimes, like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I tell people stuff when I'm excited, not to show off, but just because I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited, let me share this with my friends or whatever. Yeah. And, like, I remember, like, I'd gotten a new phone, and I was so excited about it. And, like, I was, like, saying, like, I got it for a cheaper price even, which isn't, like, something to, like, most people, like, they brag about, like, oh my god, look how much I paid for that. Like, I was just like, oh my god, like, I'm getting a new phone, but, like, it's, you know, my dad's getting it for cheaper. That's, like, the main reason I'm getting a new phone. I have to, like, sell my old one, because that was, like, whenever, like, me and my brother, if we want new phones, we have to, like, make sure that, like, our old phones are in, like, top quality condition or whatever to sell them. And then we use, like, that money, like, we save it to, like, get, like, the new thing. But anyways, so yeah, and I was, like, saying this, but I was just excited, like, I was just sharing. And she was like, oh yeah, like, I have, like, I think, like, the new iPhone was coming out. This was also, like, near the iOS 7 period. Like, this when I fucked up my phone when I was, like, gonna get a new phone. I think, like, if I'm not wrong. And she was like, oh yeah, like, I'm getting the new one too, but it's, like, in America, because, like, AT&T have, like, a chip in it, and, like, we can't unlock it yet. And we all just went quiet.
Yeah.
And we looked at her, because it was like, what do we do with this information?
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, that's cool, yeah, like, I'm really excited. And I was genuinely excited, like, I was just, like, sharing my happiness, and she was like, I mean, like, sometimes, like, I realize some people may see it as, like, bragging, but, like, I don't know, like, I'd like to think that, like, I don't know, my emotions are very obvious, you know? But yeah, it was so strange. It was, like,
so strange,
weird times. She also, like, she used to do, like, vocal lessons, which is so weird, because she was so private about it. Whenever she had the chance to show off, she would show off, but she never talked about her singing, and she was actually a really good singer. But she mostly, like, her, I don't know if it's called, like, a soprano or not. I mean, this is really embarrassing. I used to play the saxophone. But she was much better at the high notes, and she went to this, like, same the same vocal lessons that one of my friends, Katya, who's like a huge fan of the show, shout out Katya, we love you. Katya like also knew her, and like she's the one who told me, hey, I know one of your friends from my vocal lessons, and I brought it up. I think it was like in front of everyone, and she went bright red, and she was like, oh, I used to do it, but I don't do it anymore. And she was just trying to like totally skip it, and like what? Then literally the next week she took me to one of, like, she was like, oh, let's hang out, and I was like, sure. And she was like, oh, but I have vocal lessons that day. I was like, oh, we can do it another day. She was like, no, you can come with. And I was just like, oh, Jesus. Like, what? It was really strange. It was like I was being allowed into this, like, world. Like, she was just like, you know, bitch, this means I trust you. Or else I'm going to cut your dick off, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. This is random, but, like, since I mentioned Katya, now I'm thinking about it. But, like, there was this... Katya, she's a really great singer, and like back then I was like learning how to play the guitar, so I could just like play a few chords, you know, like random rhythms and stuff. I wasn't that good because I was like teaching myself, and I was like lazy because I was like fucking 15 or 16, I can't remember. And I'm gonna quote, we made a band called Patio Ants, and basically we both had metal bowls on our heads, and I would be playing some random ass like melody on the guitar while she was singing a list of grilled cheese sandwich like recipes. Did I ever show that video to you?
No, I remember you made a band with, and it was like the lyrics were like bad puns. Was that you?
What?
Oh my god.
Maybe.
Yeah, like there was.
I don't know. I did a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, it was like, and the band was called like something Trees or some shit. That's the band I remember. And it was weird.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I think I remember. It was with Nathan.
Who's Nathan?
Like Nathan, like the guy who transitioned.
Oh, okay.
You know, our classmate, yeah, the one who transitioned, Nathan.
Yeah.
It was with him and this like girl Nora.
Oh yeah.
Because we would joke about like stuff on Tumblr a lot, and like, yeah, and we were talking like I was like, oh, I'll play the ukulele, and like Nathan was like, I'll play the kazoo, and that girl Nora was like, I'll play the cymbals. It was just like dumb shit. We weren't even that close. Like I just think because I talked to everyone, I thought we were all friends. But yeah, it turns out Nathan really didn't like me, but it's fine because I didn't really like Nathan that much either. I just saw him as someone like that my friends hung out with, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there were weird people. There were also even weirder teachers, you know, in our high school.
Yeah.
Like my friends were like talking about like this one phys. I don't know if you ever had this guy, but like I never had him, so I had no idea who they were talking about. But this was during GCSEs. It was this guy that wore fucking Crocs and flip-flops to class. And it was, like, under the observatory. That's where his class was. And apparently he would just lie a lot. He was like, oh, I went to, like, Michael Jackson's funeral with Joan Rivers. And I was, like, 10 at the time. Which made no sense because he was, like, a 40-year-old man. Which means that if he went to, like, Michael Jackson's funeral with, like... No, he was like, I went to Elvis Presley's funeral with Michael Jackson and Joan Rivers. Which means, like, the guy's, like, 70 years old or something. But, yeah, like, he would, like, say bullshit like this. And, like, I don't know, like, some of our other teachers, like, there was one... Oh, what was her name? That incredibly weird British fat woman.
Miss Heath?
What was her name? Jo? No. No, I love Miss Heath.
I love Miss Heath.
Don't talk shit about Miss Heath.
No,
she was an angel.
But I was like, why is she bitching about Miss Heath right now, bro?
I would never bitch about Miss Heath. Had faith in me. Miss Heath, like, she had her eye on me. She made sure I was okay. She is Miss Heath. If you're listening to this, which you are probably not,
dude,
you are the real MVP.
Her, I was in her math class once because she was, like, teaching set 5 and I was, like, a dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Because of her, like, from the first freaking test we had, I moved up to set 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was
amazing.
Yeah. I was in her class, like, 2 years in a row, and then, like, I got bumped to, like, the first set in math, like, in GCSEs, and I was like, what? You know, like, there were so many, like, smart people in my class, but she was just, like, there. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. We had this friend who was obsessed with one of our teachers as well. Remember her?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Mr. Lawrence, he was such a dick. Like like so many times. This was back when I was academic and smart. But like so many times, I would correct him because he like did something like wrong on the board, and then he'd be like, "No, Sarah, that's wrong." And, like, I'd be like, no, like, that's the answer, like, according to the equation. And then, like, he'd put in the answer, and he'd be like, oh, shit, Sarah, you were right. Yeah. And I was like, well, bitch. You know, God. Remember Mr. Wall?
Oh, he was so mean.
My statistics teacher.
He was so mean, dude.
That piece of shit.
He confiscated something from me once. Because I, like...
Was it your phone?
I think he confiscated my phone once, but also another time I had this thing. Sorry, I cut you off. But another time I had this thing.
No worries.
It was like
Was it a razor? Because I remember one time, like, we had like a razor because we were dealing with foam board in art, and I had it in my pencil case. And I can't remember if it was you or me, but I remember him distinctly saying that's really dangerous, calling in the head of year so that he could confiscate it in front of her.
Yeah, and also like I had this thing. I don't know if it was attached to like a knife, like a paper knife. But it was like a red light. Like you could press it and like there would be like a red light.
A light. Oh, yeah. I think it was like for the iPad or like it was like a pen or something.
And I was like flashing it while walking like to the because we had like in the math corridor was our like forms.
Yeah, that's where it was. Yeah.
So I was walking with it, and I don't know how he has fucking eagle vision, bro. He saw it. And he took it from me, and
he just looks to see who he can fuck with.
Yeah, and he started yelling at me, and I was like, dude, who the fuck? I
was such an asshole. Like, I remember once, because, like, I did statistics with him, and he really hated me for no real reason. Like, anything I think back to, I tried my best to be like, no, but the guy, like, sabotaged me pretty much. Like, he literally refused to help me for my coursework. You know, and like when I went to him, like, you know, with my mom for like the parent teacher meeting, my mom said to him, like, he was like, oh, Sarah, she's just not bothered to do the work. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? Statistics is the exam she's studying the most for. Yeah. And he was like, well, there's nothing I can do to help her. Like, you know, she just doesn't seem interested. And she was like, well, your job as the teacher is to force her to get interested. And when my mom said that, he just like, he just shut the fuck up. Literally, like, when it, like, my mom's like a quiet person. She doesn't care for like drama and all that, like, unless it's like gossip, but like she avoids this kind of like this bullshit, like, I mean, any sort of like confrontation, like, you know, even like with just like any sort of like crap, she takes the high road. And like, but when it comes to education, she gets fun. Like, when it comes to her kids, my mom's just like, fuck off. You know, like, her English isn't like amazing. Like, now it's gotten like a lot better, but back then it was like terrible. But she would, like, answer back to, like, any teacher who was, like, shitty to me for no real reason. Because this guy genuinely had, like... One time in class, we were talking about something. And I remember this so well because it was so annoying. He asked a question. And he was like, Sarah, what's the answer? And I was like, 5. Now, my answer was wrong, but it was very, very odd. Like, everyone in class, like, was like, yeah, I could totally understand how you got 5. Even some people in the class had gotten 5 as an answer. And I remember it was 5 because I remember saying it was 5. And he looked at me and he was like, no, that's wrong. Let me ask someone with a brain.
What the fuck?
And like, it all happened so quick and everyone was like laughing. I was like, wait, what the fuck did he just say? And like, Mahnor, bless her, she looked so pissed off. She was like, he just said, let me ask someone with a brain. And I just stared at him and he looked so smug. And I was like, I wish I could break your teeth.
I want to punch him in the
face.
I want to go back to Wellington and punch him in the fucking face for that.
Oh, God, yeah. No, dude, Wellington is such a shit show. I really don't care, like...
But I remember we had this teacher, Miss Kiernan.
I don't remember her.
I think she was also a math teacher. I think her name was Kiernan.
I don't think I had her.
Yeah, but... no, she was also the head of year at one point. Maybe it was before.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sarah Kiernan. She moved, like, after year 8.
Yeah. So...
I remember her, because I had a crush on her.
Dude, a lot of people did. Like, because I remembered her because, okay, she was really my math teacher as well. But also, I remember Samir during assembly.
Oh, God.
She was, like, so mad. Like, we did something and she was, like, so mad at some, like, someone did something in the year group and she was, like, pissed off about it. Like, and I think she was yelling at Samir or whatever. And then afterwards, he was just like, oh my God, she's so hot when she's angry.
Oh my God, I remember this.
Like, I really didn't like this guy, but after that comment, I was like, dude.
That guy was so weird. You know, one time, like, I used to take Ritalin for my ADHD. And I don't know how, but this guy, Samir, he found out that I took Ritalin. And one time, it was also, like, it was near, like, prom season. So he was like, Sarah, can I talk to you, like, in private for a second? And I thought he wanted to, like,
ask you
know, do one of those, like, funny pranks. Like, where he was like, oh, do you want to go to prom with me? But it's actually a prank. Like, that's what I thought it was. I was like, no, like, I have to get home, Samir. It was like, no, please. Like, it's actually serious. And I was like, sure. He was like, I heard you have ADD medication. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah. And he was like, can I get some of it? I was like, no. And he was like, oh, but like, how do you get them? I was like, you have ADD. Like, you get them prescribed. Like, I was actually so pissed off. And I was like, what? He was like, Sarah, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I was like, dude, like, even if you took them, what did you think it was going to do? He was like, oh, it'll help me study. I was like, that's not what it... I was like, for people who have a literal problem that, like, they're unable to focus, this helps them able to focus on whatever they want. Like, if I take this medication and don't focus while studying, I'm going to be focused on like the fucking TV show I'm watching. Like, it's going to be the same for you. Like, you don't need it. You're just, like, tired of, like, studying. Like, you have to force yourself. But I was just, like, looking at this guy, and all I could think is the fucking audacity. You know? Like, who says that? It was also, like, fucking, like, year 13. So everyone was, like almost 18 years old, you know? Like, some people were 18. So it was just like, how old are you? Like, what is this? What is this bullshit,
Dude,
you know?
He's so weird. I remember in math, he used to, like, grind when the teacher would leave. He used to, like, grind on the table. Dude. Yeah,
remember? He wanted to be Chris Brown.
Dude, fuck this guy for real. Like,
fuck Chris Brown.
And fuck this guy Samir as well.
Honestly.
For fucking, like,
shout out to him.
He worshipped it, like, Chris Brown.
He tried so hard. Like, he thought he was black. Like, and I remember one time, like, I fucked with him. Like, it was, like, year 8. Like, I fucked with him. There was this prank I learned on Friends where it's, like, you blacken all the sides of a coin and you tell a person, I bet you this coin that you can't roll it from the tip of your forehead to the bottom of your chin. And when they roll it down, they get this black line halfway through their face. Yeah. And, like, so I said that to him. So he got this, like, big black line down the middle of his face. But it was, like, towards going home time. And, like, we were laughing. And everyone was like, oh, it's on your face. And it was like, oh, stop shitting with me. Like, I know there's nothing on my face. So we just went home like that. Yeah. Literally. But yeah, this was a good nostalgic episode. You wanna thank the guys? The listeners of...
Yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And we'll see you guys next week.
You got that. Stay tuned, everybody. We upload every Friday morning. So enjoy your morning coffee with us. Or your wake and bake. Or your... just listen whenever. That's all I can say. So this has been the Bitching Channel.